Hey all, just want to do a little change up today and talk a little bit about fishing again. What I specifically want to talk about is spinnerbait storage. So a couple years ago, I've always used spinnerbaits, kind of used Strike King, Bleeding Bait series. They caught a ton of fish for me. And then I either made the mistake or was enlightened when I bought a War Eagle, which has much thinner wire than the Strike Kings, and I caught a whole mess of more clearwater fish, which kind of got me onto something. And I then happened to buy one of the War Eagle with the wide willow blade on the back. I think it's the finesse size spinnerbait. And wow, I caught even more fish, because it wasn't your standard double willow, and kind of like this stuff might be kind of the golden ticket to catching bass. And it was kind of unique because I was fishing around some spots and other people were throwing spinnerbaits and getting blanked. They're kind of surprised I was, but I always kind of tried to be different than what everybody else was throwing, which got me to thinking I've tied flies. I'm like, all right, well, if I get some spinnerbait components, get some different blades, I can make my own spinnerbaits and make up some different combos. And sure enough, I got some different blades and some different combos, and I've caught a ton of fish with War Eagles. I had gifted my father-in-law some of the spinnerbaits I made and took the War Eagles out, and sure enough, usually in the past I would get outfish the Strike King baits like 5-1 with a War Eagle. Well, he went out and smoked me like 5-1 or even worse with one of my baits versus a War Eagle. So I really thought I was onto something. So I've been making a lot of spinnerbaits, and honestly, I've been carrying a couple of these flambeau boxes on a vacation, and out for a week. Take probably, these boxes carry about 42 spinnerbaits. So I'd probably have 80 to 100 spinnerbaits with me, because in the boat I'd still throw, carry the 2 6-pack flambeau boxes. So I'd have about 12 in the boat. I'd try to put this box in there, but the problem is I've got a 16-foot aluminum boat with no dry storage. So I mean, it's got under deck storage, but it's not waterproof. So it usually always rains. So it's only dry for a day or two, and then once it rains, it's wet underneath. So you don't really, even though these are waterproof, it's just pain in the butt to store, wet stuff down underneath the deck when it's wet. And these boxes aren't sized to fit in a standard bag. So what I've started doing is I still use these, but I will use these kind of as my base boxes, and I just take a note card, probably had to cut it off a little bit, and put the different weights. This one's got 3/16 and 3/8 ounce baits in there, and I will carry this will be my grab box, and I'll just use this for storage in the cabin, and or when I'm fishing local lakes, I'll use this as storage at home and just pull from here to supplement my box when I go out on the water. Well, I had bought one of those Plano 3700 jig boxes when they came out, and like everybody's seen, the issue with them when you use them for jigs is that they're just too short, and unless you trim your weed guard really short, it just bends the snot out of the weed guard. Now, I also learned that the 3600 size of the jig box, genius move by Plano, they made it even shallower, so it bends the weed guards even more than the 3700 box. So since I wasn't using this as a jig box, because I vary on how much I cut the weed guards, local lake at home is real weedy and just gross. Up north, it's less, sparser weeds, so you can get away with very short weed guard to almost no weed guard, so it's not really big of a deal. But yeah, I just got sick of using this thing for that, and it just sat in a drawer. So one day I just got to thinking, hey, well, spinnerbaits fit in here. And sure enough, I found they did. But what I did notice is I didn't need all 5 dividers, or all 5 of these little, I don't know what you call them, they're not really dividers. So I pulled 2 of them out and respaced these. Now, I will say this thing may or may not pass the, hey, I'm going to throw it across the deck, do all the spinnerbaits fall out. Yeah, they may, because as you can see, this is not a perfect system. So like, here's one of my ½ ounce. So this is 1/4 ounce, ½ ounce, and 1/8 ounce baits. These are some 3/8 and 1/8 ounce. Those are generally the sizes I use. Mostly I use 1/4 ounce on clear water. They just work really, really well in clear, shallow water. But this last year I found they quit hitting the 1/4 ounce, believe it or not, and I had to downsize to 1/8 ounce to start getting bit again. So I know Florida bass are really finicky and hate cold fronts, but apparently northern Wisconsin bass are super picky and very temperamental, and when a cold front hits, which usually in a week you'll get 2 or 3 just because it's Wisconsin, yeah, the bass will become tight-lipped and really change their feeding habits. But yeah, the downside to this box is it's not perfect. As you can see what I had to do here, I'll pull the ½ ounce. You can definitely get this one out. So this one pulls out nice and easy. And then you just kind of stack it on top. But you do, you have to stack them on top of each other. It's not like you're hanging them side by side. But you do get this really nice compact box that will fit in a bag with your terminal tackle boxes, your plastic boxes. But it works super handy. I mean, so much so that I actually bought another one after this one's sitting for almost a year. I actually picked up another one so that I can have 2 of these in the boat. And to be honest, pick up one of my trusty War Eagles here. Yeah, I'll probably go, which by the way, this purple shad is a great clear water color. Really surprised that it's so good too with the gold blade, or I think that's a gold blade. Years past with Strike King baits, I could only get hit on all nickel blades, but these War Eagles really changed my mind on that. But this is a good solid color for clear water. But yeah, this box is just so handy. Yeah, here's some little 1/8 ounce spinnerbaits. It's homemade, and they sit in there nice, and it's just a great box for this. And I know they make another box where it kind of folds them up and it squeezes the wire. To be honest, I'm not a fan of that. I tend to tune these a lot. If they get bit, they're gonna get bent, and generally they're not gonna snap back. So I really hate the idea when you get one of those boxes, and this one has a gigantic white willow on there, and then you go and bend them like that. Now, knowing that these, I mean, should they snap back? Probably, but if you put them in there and you forget about them for a year, I don't know if I want to do that. That's why I kind of like this box. Well, yeah, if you want to pull out this middle one here, you got to work a little bit, but honestly, it's probably not that much different than one of those hanging boxes, that flambeau box. They are super easy to get out, super easy to find. But, I mean, this thing works great on the water, and let's see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, So you get 14, roughly 14 spots there, 13, 14. So you can carry almost 39, 40 spinnerbaits in here as well. And it fits in a nice small compact size and will sit in your tackle bag. And you could, honestly, you could go with, if you have a smaller tackle bag, you could do the same thing with the 3600. You obviously get less baits in there, but if you quit using the 3600 size for your jigs, give it a shot for spinnerbaits, and I think you'll like it. It's been a winner for me, despite, like I said, maybe a little bit of difficulty finding them because I get jumbled in there, but yeah, I know what's in there. I can find it on the water quickly, retie, get a different bait on, and honestly, having extra spinnerbaits with you, it is kind of a chuck and wind lure, but at the same time, having the right color, the right blade combo, the right weight, I think everybody falls in love too much, personally, with throwing heavier baits. I think lighter baits are 3/16, quarter ounce, 1/8 ounce are kind of where it's at least in clear water. It's worked really well for me. I guess I probably shouldn't be saying that, but so now everybody will start doing it, or at least whoever watches this might start trying it. But I think it's the ticket. I think everybody just goes heavier, 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 thinking, and faster, 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 but low and slow with, or at least as low as a quarter ounce bait will go, and reel back slowly with lots of pauses. You don't have to burn them, even in clear water. They still absolutely crush them. Caught personal best smallie, 21.5, 22-inch smallie on there. I think I had, in one war eagle, I had over 70 inches of smallmouth and 4 fish, something like that. A couple of 20s, a 19 and a 17. It's just insane. And it was clear water, slow retrieve. So give it a shot, give the box a shot, and hopefully the tips with the spinnerbaits that I kind of threw in there extra help you out. Good luck, enjoy, and take care.